So Donald Trump tweeted something that I thought was interesting for a number of reasons. Take a look at this. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Can you believe this is the governor of the highest tax state in the U.S., Andrew Cuomo, having a total meltdown? Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this. There's a few points to make. Number one, I am in awe of people who are in the public spotlight, particularly politicians or, like political pundits, who are really shitty at making their case. Like, I'm in awe. Like, how are you the governor of New York, but you didn't have that little thing go off in your mind as you started that sentence, and you couldn't realize this was going to be used against you, and it's going to be an effective smear from the other side. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Now, my first initial reaction when I read that tweet was, he probably didn't say that. And then I looked it up. No, he did say it. He did say it. So, on the one hand, Andrew Cuomo is a clunky idiot. And by the way, I actually know the answer to that question. How did he get this far without knowing how to fucking communicate, even though he's a politician? Well, the answer is very simple. Daddy. His dad was governor of New York, Mario Cuomo. And Mario Cuomo, to be fair, was significantly to the left of Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo was much more of an establishment figure than Mario Cuomo was. So it's almost unfair to compare Andrew to Mario. So how can you're so clunky and you're so stupid? Like, really? You didn't understand that this was going to be used against you? Okay, that's the first point. But the second point is this. I'm so utterly amazed by the people on the right, Donald Trump included, who love to portray themselves as and Ben Shapiro, this is his whole thing, facts over feelings. Facts over feelings. But then they read something like this and they're like, I'm so outraged. I'm so offended. I'm so emotional over this thing I read. I thought you guys were the non-emotional people. I thought you guys were the non-outraged, non-offended people. That's the way you portray yourself. It's like, yeah, we're the truth tellers. We tell harsh truths. Well, we're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Kind of seems like a harsh truth. Now, let me be clear. I don't think the way he phrased that is the best way of phrasing it. And again, I think it's clunky and he's a jackass for phrasing it the way he phrased it. But the core of what he's saying there, I think, is totally true. First of all, this idea that we're going to make America great again, everything Donald Trump is doing is the opposite. Pulled us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, pulled us out of the Iran deal, cut taxes more for the rich, blew a giant hole in the debt and the deficit, increased the number of countries that we're bombing, increased drone strikes 432%, signed a pro-torture executive order. I can go on and on. On and on. Wages are down in his wonderful economy. Bullshit that it's wonderful. Just because the unemployment rate is low doesn't mean anything. So that's actually true. We're not making America great again. Certainly not by what Trump's doing. Not even close. And then the second point is it was never that great. Okay, perhaps that's a harsh way of wording it, but why not ask somebody who's a Trump supporter or Trump himself, what year exactly do you want to take America back to? What year do you want to take America back to? Because that whole thing, make America great again. Okay, so again implies there was a time when it was great. When? When was it great? Tell me the exact year you want to take it back to. Because without a doubt, whatever year you pick, there are tremendous problems to be dealt with in that era. 100%, not even close. So to say it's not that great, listen, that's a harsh truth. You want to go back to the 1950s? Okay, none of the minorities had rights. So they might say, great. Okay, well then you're exposing your hand and showing your true colors and you actually are a bigot and you should stop fucking bitching and moaning when people call you a bigot because that's a bigoted position. I want to go back to 1950, but don't call me a bigot. Well, there was official segregation as rule of law in the 1950s, you fucking idiots. Of course I'm going to call you a bigot. That's what you are if that's your position. And any other time you want to go back to, you name it, there are giant problems. Giant problems. But yeah, if you just isolate his quote here, even though it's clunky, it is kind of a harsh truth. And the people who say they're for harsh truths, they should be the ones most cheering that comment. So there's a lot of anger to go around here. Trump is a snowflake for flipping out over this, but then again, he's just using it for his political advantage, which is expected. Andrew Cuomo's a jackass for framing it that way and phrasing it that way when he should have known that this was going to be used to attack him. And I just hate that this is the future of American politics. I mean, we have fucking Donald Trump, who's an idiot, who's obviously the president. And then we have people like Andrew Cuomo. This guy's going to try to take on Trump. I don't think these guys can take on Trump. Because here's what Trump does to scandals and controversies. That's Trump, scandals and controversies. Andrew Cuomo, you watch. You watch. I predict it now. In the fallout to this, he will not even be able to overcome this, which is just like a minor half gaffe, and he still won't be able to plow through. You know? And again, this is a problem, a persistent problem on the left in general. Andrew Cuomo is an establishment hack. I'll be clear about that. But even people on the left who I think I agree with and are correct about stuff, there's this persistent problem of like they're incapable of, when there's an attempt at a manufactured conspiracy, they don't know how to swat it down in the same way that the right does. If there's a manufactured conspiracy on the right, so many right-wingers just fucking slap it aside and bulldoze ahead. And that's the way you do it. But on the left, it's like they digest the fact that there is a scandal happening, and then they fumble all over themselves and make it worse. When, listen, the way you handle it, and it's what I did on Fox News, to be honest. It's, oh, here's this clip of Cori Bush fucking up. Now you're supposed to come out there and apologize. But what did I do? I said, no, she's right on the overall point, which is raise taxes on the rich. The rich are getting away with murder. Jeff Bezos has over $100 billion. Well, we have 60,000 homeless Americans, 60,000 homeless veterans, 500,000 or so homeless Americans. What are we talking about here? Of course you should raise tax on the rich. Duh. You want to defend the rich? By all means, go ahead. They don't know how to double down, and they don't know how to fucking really fight back. Meanwhile, the right just gets to run all over people like Andrew Cuomo. And to be fair, I'm not totally against that, because Andrew Cuomo is such an establishment hack that he should be kind of eliminated from this potential, run in the next election cycle. But I thought that this issue was interesting for a variety of reasons. Number one, because the facts over feelings people are letting feelings override facts. And number two, because Andrew Cuomo is so shitty at framing, and he's going to be helpless, and he's going to be a fucking lamb to the slaughter in the next election.